I'm just going to get through with all of my apologies and everybody I'm going to offend right now, and we can just go on from there. Good afternoon. I have to tell you, I'm from Miami. And when I accepted this invitation, I thought it was going to be spring. I was wrong. I want to give some brief remarks, and then I had thought we were going to go to questions. They tell me we're not set up for that, so unless some of the tables in the front want to ask questions that I can then repeat, I'm going to stand here and I'm going to ask myself questions. Because though getting paid to talk on TV is really quite nice, I prefer to talk with, to hear what other people are thinking, to hear what other people around the country and what the diverse voices around the country are thinking and are interested in. First, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I was born in a small town in Nicaragua, and I had a charmed childhood. Until when I was about 6 years old and a civil war broke out, which culminated in a communist revolution in 1979. In 1980, my family fled to Miami, and my father stayed behind. He became part of the opposition forces, the freedom fighters. You'll remember, those of you that are old enough to remember the 80s. He was there trying to restore democracy. In Miami, my mom, my siblings, and I, we had to start from scratch. It was all new. A new language, new customs, a new town, no family, no structure. I ended up having the good fortune of going to the Sacred Heart, getting enrolled in the Sacred Heart School in Miami. And I always say, all the good things I've learned in life, I got taught by the Sacred Heart nuns. All the bad things I know in life, I learned from politicians. Probably those two early experiences have had a disproportionate effect on shaping my outlook in life. And by that, I mean the strife, civil war, political unrest in my home country, and being raised by the Sacred Heart nuns, being educated by the Sacred Heart nuns, going to an all-girls school. The first taught me the fact about coming from Nicaragua, having to flee your country, that it is so incredibly important to be engaged, to participate, to help shape your democracy, to help shape the future of your country, to help shape the government that is going to be a part of your life, to participate in politics, to have a voice, and not to be afraid to speak up, because if you don't do it, others will do it for you. And going to an all-girls school taught me that women rule. I didn't know anything else when I was growing up. I still don't know anything else. Women can make a difference. They taught me there are no boundaries. The only boundaries are the ones you set for yourself. Other people can't hold you back. Only you can hold yourself back. Going to an all-girls school also helped me start building something which I have grown throughout my life, which has helped me throughout my life, and is such a sustaining part of who I am today. It helped me build a sisterhood, a network of women friends, people who today are my mentors, and now I have mentees. That's when you know you're old. When when you went from mentor to mentee, you got old, folks. Some of my women friends I've known since childhood. Some I've known for only a few months. Some live in suburbia with 2 children and a cat. Others live in New York in apartments the size of the walk-in closets in suburbia with the women who live with a cat. Some have reached great economic success. Others are poor as hell. Some are stay-at-home moms. Some run multinational corporations and powerful national organizations. Some are supported by their husbands. Some make a lot more money than their husbands. Some have no husband. Some have boyfriends. Some have boy toys. Some have sex toys. And some have wives. Because a man, ladies, and listen to me, a man does not define you. Some keep popping out babies. Others baby their Yorkies. Having a diversity of friends makes my life that much richer and so much more fun. And I only have one rule that we keep for each other. We do not judge each other. We advise each other, we listen to each other, we rib each other, we make fun of each other, we support each other, we give each other frank, blunt, constructive criticism, but not harsh criticism. And every woman in this room knows that women can be the harshest judges of other women. Is that right? We don't tear each other down. And let me go back to that one golden rule. We do not judge each other. We all know what women tend to be. When was the last time a man walked into a room and you heard another man saying, "That suit makes him look fat"? Or, "My God, did you see his hair? I mean, what was he thinking?" And I do make one exception for this anecdote, and that's Donald Trump. Because I have heard other men comment about his hair. In fact, I've seen babies shield their eyes. I was at an Admirals Club watching TV a few days ago with a friend of mine, big, muscular, chairman of the board, deep voice, pinstripe wearing macho man. And there was this segment on TV about this new Sheryl Sandberg notion that women should ban the word bossy. Have you all heard of that? You guys know what I'm talking about? All right, well, here's what I'm going to tell you. Be bossy. Be very goddamn bossy. Everyone is free to do as they like. But personally, I like the word bossy. I like to be referred to with the term that starts with these 4 letters, B-O-S-S. Be it bossy, boss, boss-like, boss woman, I will take any of them. They all work fine for me. And the reason we are bossy, and men, here I go, I'm apologizing now. The reason we are bossing is because men need instructions. I mean, men can't find anything. How many times do they ask you to help you, that they're desperate because they can't find the jacket they want to wear and it's right in front of them? How many times do they look in the refrigerator and they can't find anything to eat and there's food that you prepared that's right in front of them? We know men can't close a drawer. They can't put a toilet seat down unless we tell them so. And you know what? If it weren't for women, for mothers, for sisters, for wives, for girlfriends, for bosses, telling them what to do, men would go around in public scratching their privates. You know they would. You know they think that's okay. So my male friend, my big macho pinstripe wearing friend that was watching TV with me at the Admirals Club, turned to me and said, we were talking about this entire bossy thing. He said, you chicks spend a lot of time on this life coaching stuff, telling each other what to do and what not to do. Men never do that. And as I think about it, I think he's probably right. Men never tell each other to lean in. They don't tell each other to ban the word bossy. They don't tell each other to dress for success. Again, I'm making an exception for Donald Trump. And they don't tell each other they have to lose weight. I think one of the best things about being a woman today is that most of us, particularly, and I'm talking in developed and modern countries like the one we're lucky enough to live in, we have the freedom to choose what to do, how we do it, and when we do it. A lot of women who came before us fought very hard to provide us that choice. We have to respect each other's freedom to choose. There is not one definition of success. Success is what brings you fulfillment and happiness. And that means different things to different people, to different women. It means different priorities. It means different paths. It means doing it at different times in our lives. Some people want to have babies at 20. Some people want to adopt a baby at 60. Like a 19-year-old pool boy. You all are bad. You're just pretending to be good, but you all are bad. So ladies, exercise your freedom to choose. Figure out what your definition of success is. what your definition of fulfillment is and be like a tennis shoe. Just do it. So either you ask me questions or I ask me questions. What are we doing? Anybody around the front want to ask questions that I'll repeat on the mic? And I can't see, by the way, with these lights, so. All right, I'll start. Come on, man, you're looking so angry there, cross-armed and all that. And you know you'd be scratching yourself in public if allowed. All right, you see, you need instructions. He said, I'm just trying to figure out where I need to be next. I mean, we're going back to my point that women need to be bossy, because if not, men would not know what to do. Things I get asked a lot are, how do you feel about being put in a niche on TV, in the Hispanic niche or the women niche? And frankly, I'm not in a niche, and I don't let myself be put in a niche. Now, if issues affecting women come up, am I the one that's going to talk about it? Probably. If issues affecting Hispanics come up, am I the one that's going to talk about it? Probably. But if Ukraine comes up, if sanctions on Venezuela come up, if debt ceiling comes up, I'm also the one that's going to talk about it. And I think for women, we need to lose this notion of being stuck in a niche and rather embrace the niche. Embrace the womanhood. Embrace the diversity that you bring to the table, because that is your asset, because that's your perspective. And frankly, if you don't talk about it, if I'm not talking about Hispanic issues on TV, who will? Some white man? God help us. So I think, on diversity, you embrace it. I get asked a lot if I have ever felt discriminated against. And I'm sure I have been discriminated against, right? I'm a woman, I'm an immigrant, I'm Hispanic, I have an accent. I gotta tell you, I didn't know I had an accent until I went on TV, because everybody in Miami talks like me. And so when I went on TV, people, the people who didn't like what I was saying, and when you're talking politics, that's half the country. So the people that didn't like what I was saying would tweet me and write me and complain to CNN and ABC about my irritating Mexican accent. Mind you, I'm not Mexican. And the people who did like me would tweet me talking about my sexy Latino accent and asking for my numbers. So have I ever been discriminated against? Have I ever felt discriminated against? I go back, I think yes, probably I have been. The likelihood is I have been discriminated against. Woman, Hispanic, immigrant. But I can't tell you when that was. I can't think of one time when that happened. And that's probably because I don't acknowledge discrimination. I think discrimination against a woman or a Hispanic is the person who's discriminating problem. It's their problem. It's not my problem. And I don't acknowledge it, and I will not allow anybody to turn me into a victim of discrimination. Let's see, what other questions do I get asked a lot? Are we ready for a woman president? Yeah, I think so. The right woman president. I don't think women are going to vote blindly for a candidate just because they are a woman. But I think if she's the better candidate, women will be glad to support the candidate, and that there can be a candidate who's a woman who is the better candidate. I think Hillary Clinton has already, and I'm a Republican, but I think Hillary Clinton, I'm not sure if she's going to run. I think she's got to decide pretty quick. But I think she's already made history, because I don't think there's anybody, regardless of your political affiliation, who doubts that Hillary Clinton can be the nominee, that Hillary Clinton can run a very effective presidential campaign, and Hillary Clinton can be elected president. And if you think about it, that's the first time in our history that that has happened, that we know that there's a woman out there who can be president and might be president. To me, that's already historical. I'm not going to vote for her, but it's historical. Well, wait, I'm not going to vote for her depending on, who's on the Republican side, but I'm hoping for a Bush-Clinton, sequel, but just, I like sequels. I like trilogies, like Twilight and Hunger Games. All right, ask me stuff, because I'm running out of things to ask myself. Yeah.
You mentioned that you're a Republican, and it was great that you came to Massachusetts, which is sort of a blue state. So you won't be surprised by the question, but it's wonderful to watch you on television because, you don't sometimes express conventional wisdom of your party. And I'm wondering what kind of pushback you get from other members of your party about that.
She is saying that though I'm in a blue state, I am safe and do not need armed security. And she is saying that watching me on TV, I don't always express the conventional view of my party, and that's very refreshing, and what kind of pushback I get. Two things. One, I think the conventional view of the Republican Party is not exactly what you see on TV. And I'll give you a couple of examples. It's almost like with the rearview mirror. Objects are not as crazy as they appear in the mirror. The week of the same-sex marriage, of the Edie Windsor decision in the Supreme Court, I was scheduled to be on one of the Sunday shows. And, they'd bought the airplane ticket, they'd reserved the hotel, they'd sent me we were all ready to go. And on Friday afternoon, I get a call asking me what side of the issue I'm on. And I said, well, I think it's great. I can't be happier that this happened. This is a gift for the Republican Party. We're taking it out of politics. We're putting it in the judicial branch. This is terrific. I have a lot of gay friends. I have a lot of lesbian friends. They have the same rights I do. I'm thrilled about this. I get a call about 10 minutes later saying, well, you know what, Anna? We want to go a different direction because we want somebody that offers some contrast. So we're going to cancel you for this Sunday. I'm like, okay. I turn on the TV on Sunday, and there's Rick Santorum wagging his finger at Hillary Rosen. So, and when you look at the polls, 45%, 56% of Republicans under 45 support gay marriage. Now, if you listen to TV, you would think that every Republican wants to castrate every gay man. Well, that's not reflective of the reality. So I live outside of Washington, and I try to bring that perspective. I live in Florida, which is a purple state. I don't live in a red state, in a red world. I don't live in a blue world. I live in a multicolored, three-dimensional world. I have Democrat friends. I have Republican friends. I have holy roller, Bible-thumping friends. I have sinners for friends. So I think one of the things that we have to do as a country is get out of our comfort zone. For too long now, we've gotten used to just hanging out with and talking to and listening to and reading people that think just like we do. And I think that's causing us a lot of harm and marginalizing us and polarizing us as a country. Now, what kind of pushback do I get? There is a section, a fragment, a faction of the Republican Party that's kind of anointed and appointed themselves as the purity police. And think that there should be some sort of purity test that, of course, they've designed and they moderate and they grade and they administer that either defines you or doesn't define you as a Republican or as a conservative. So a lot of times I'll get mean tweets and, calling me rhino. And usually I write back and say, yeah, I'm a Rhino. It stands for Republicans who are inclusive, not obstructionist. So that's, that's the way I see it. What I do know is that I feel quite comfortable in the Republican Party, which is crazy, I know, as a Hispanic woman, fairly young, and who still has some, I think, eggs that might be able to produce children. I hope. But that's just the way I feel about it. I'm not going to let anybody, and it goes back to what I was saying when I was speaking. I'm not going to let anybody define things for me, much less define me. And I just came from, I was just at CPAC. I don't know if you know what that is. It's called, some people call it the Crazy People Action Committee, but it's the Conservative Political Action Committee. And it was like, like being in the movie Sybil. It was, it was like you were hearing all these voices inside your head, because the truth is there is not one definition or voice to the Conservative Party right now. There's people who are foreign policy hawks. There's people who are foreign policy doves. There's people who want to outlaw gay marriage. There's people who don't want us to be involved in social issues. Just shut up. If you're going to say we're going to keep the government out of it, then let's keep the government out of it. Don't be selective on social issues. And so, I think there's a lot more diversity to the Republican Party than meets the eye. Mind you, I think there's a lot more diversity to the Democrat Party, but right now there's a president and he has the bully pulpit. But you just wait. If there is no Democrat, you guys are, Democrats in blue states are going to be talking in a lot of voices too. Anybody else? Okay, you there, man. Ask a question in front of all these women. I feel so bad. I shouldn't be picking on like the man in the. How did I get my, well, I'm a political consultant and I do private sector work, and then so I assume you're referring to the TV job?
Yeah, I don't even know who you are.
Well, okay. My name is Ana Navarro. That's Ana with one N. I am a political strategist. I'm a political consultant. And part of what I do is that I'm a contributor on ABC and CNN on political issues. So thank you for not watching either of those networks. Thank you for your viewership. How did I get the TV job? I guess I could, say I was on John McCain's campaign. I was his national Hispanic chair. That went well. And I did a lot, and I've been in a lot of campaigns and very politically active for many years, and done a lot of surrogacy work and been a surrogate on TV and spoken on TV. And then I realized I was doing more and more speaking on TV, and it was taking a lot of time and a lot of prep work, and they better start paying for it. That's the other thing, ladies. Don't give it up for free. If you can get paid, do. There is no shame in getting paid. And I'm not talking about sex. Don't go there. So, I said, look, here's the number of times you've had me on this month. I'm not doing this for free anymore. So if you want me on, you've got to pay. And I think it helped that I'm Hispanic Republican. There's not that many of us. I think it helped that I'm from Florida, which is a crazy state, right? Half the time we can't, it takes us 3 weeks to count an election result. I think it helps that I'm friends with Jeb Bush and Marco Rubio, and they're hot commodities. So I think you take a look at what you have in your purse, bring it out and you see what you can make work. And it's been terrific because it's been very intellectually stimulating. It was terrific because it kept me on TV during the last presidential election as opposed to working on one of the campaigns, which was good because I didn't like anybody running. And I'm in Massachusetts, so maybe I shouldn't say that. God, I hope Beth Myers is not in the room. So it's been wonderful because it's opened up friendships for me with people who think and who grew up very differently from me. People like Donna Brazil, people like James Carville. I mean, when I could actually understand what was coming out of James Carville's mouth, I knew that I had fully assimilated as an American. So I think it's opened many doors. That's probably why I'm here talking to you today. So it'd be nice if you tuned in every now and then. I'm just saying, you know. Thank God you gave him enough time to think up of a question. I have one favorite. It's not a woman. It's Jeb Bush. But he knows women. He's married to a woman. He's the father of a woman. He's the son of a very talkative woman. I think there are some really cool women that are in the Republican Party and that are assuming higher leadership positions. I think Kelly Ayotte from next door is absolutely terrific. I think she takes on the big boys and a lot of times scares them off when they're trying to shut her up. She does what her conscience tells her to do. She's a studious senator, thoughtful. I think Susana Martinez, the governor of New Mexico, is terrific, not very well known. She really spends most of her time in that state. She's going to get reelected in a purple state with very high numbers. I think Susan Murkowski, who was, Lisa Murkowski, who was a Republican senator, and then there was a guy named Joe Miller who beat her in the Republican primaries. He was in Alaska. He was supported by Sarah Palin, and then you know what Ms. Lisa did? She came back as an independent and she beat the hell out of him. I think she's terrific. So I think there's a lot of terrific women. I do think that as Republicans, we need to appeal to more women. We need to elect more women. We need to have more women be chiefs of staff and political consultants and campaign managers. And those women that we have to put out front more and have them talk. There is no reason why it should be some old man talking to me about reproductive rights when there's Republican women who could do it. I will have, even if I don't agree with what they say, I will have much less of a visceral reaction and if I'm hearing it from a woman than if I am from a man. And we have those women, and I think we have got to give them much more, put them much more on the spotlight. I think as Republican women, we have got to do a better job at embracing the woman thing. Republican women, we tend to bristle at the idea of being put in the woman silo. We want to play with the big boys. I don't think Democrat women have that same issue. I see them wholly embracing the woman thing, and it's worked well for them politically. So I think women have got to get more comfortable with saying, I am woman and hear me roar. Not necessarily wanting to play with the good old boys, though some of you are fun to play with. Anybody else? Yeah.
Hi, you talk a lot about being a trailblazer, and you talked earlier about mentor-mentee relationships. Can you share a little bit about a person, male or female, that maybe helped you steer your career, your life to where you are now, or influence that?
I don't think there's been one person. I think there's been many people. some who I probably don't even know, in the sense that I think there's many people who have opened up the way for me and for us. The mentee thing, I became much more acutely aware of last year. I did a semester at Harvard at the Institute of Politics, and I had a lot of women students coming up to me, and they all wanted to know the path for having a political career, or the path for getting on TV, or the path for, and it struck me that that this generation, or at least, you know, the very high achievers that go to Harvard, they want a path. They want to know that they start from this point, and then they go do this, they study this, and they go do this internship, and they work here, and you know that path is going to lead them to ultimately what they want to do. To tell you the truth, I don't think I knew 10 years ago what I wanted to do today. I'm not sure I know today what I want to do tomorrow. I think spontaneity and is highly underrated in today's society. And I think what we have to do, and women are very good at this, because you know we have this perception, and we just are more acutely aware of things around us. I think what we have to do, or what I like to do with myself, and again, I go back to saying everybody's choose to do whatever, you know, is free to choose whatever they want, is to be very aware of the opportunities that come up. So see the opportunities and seize those opportunities. Sometimes it's, you know, a door cracks open and you have to give it a little push. Sometimes you got to give it a big, you know, hard kick. And I think that's what I've done. I've never had a career path. I went to law school. I mean, I graduated from the Sacred Heart. I studied political science. I went to law school. And then circumstances of life led me to do more legislative work and more political work than actual legal work, which was good because it was a lot more fun at that point for me than my much smarter law school classmates were having as first-year associates in law firms. So I think you know, I mean, that's what I tell young women when I, you know, look, you know, some of them need to have a path. And that's fine too, because they'll probably get to the same place, maybe it'll take less time than it takes those of us, but you know, I like to think that I'm gonna have more fun along the way. Anybody else? One more. Okay.
Would you ever run for public office?
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. I think it is one of the most god-awful things a human being can do to themselves. I am grateful that there are people that are willing to part with their privacy to make mediocre money, you know, work on some of the darndest issues, spend an enormous amount of your life begging other people for money, you know, have to pretend you like other people, that maybe you don't, have to climb up the political ladder in the sense that, you know, you have to, in order to have any relevance in Congress, you have to be there for a while, and so the short answer is hell no. I mean, oh God, no. No. You think with this mouth I could ever get through a political election? I'd be in jail. Anybody else? Okay, I can't see, so if there's anybody else, get up. And get up now, speak now, or forever hold your peace. Anyways, I think, oh, there you are. You see, you want a path. What did I tell you? They want a path. First, I don't think they're mutually exclusive. Embracing the woman thing, for lack of a better, more articulate way to say it, I don't think playing with the boys and embracing the woman thing are mutually exclusive things. They were at one point. You know, they were. If you wanted to be playing with the boys in politics or in the corporate world or whatever, you had to act like one. You remember when we had to wear shoulder pads? You guys remember those power suits? I mean, we all look like, you know, triangles and things like this. I don't think they are mutually exclusive. I think you can happily do both and do it successfully and have fun at it. And honest to goodness, I have no path to anything. I have no roadmap. I got absolutely no advice I can give to you other than have some fun while you're doing it. Because really, you know, they used to tell me this, and it didn't. I didn't realize how true it was until things began hurting in the morning. You're only young once, and have fun along the way, because I think that makes a difference of what you project and what you can achieve. And with that, ladies and a few gentlemen, I'm going back to Miami. Thank you.